What's going on, Patreon subscribers and at a later date YouTube viewers? I have to preface this with a warning. In issue 7, there is some risque scenes, nudity, whatnot. I'm going to have to age gate this video just because I don't want this video being struck against just because. I am going to be showing nudity because in my sketchbook for January, I do have nudity because I was working on sketches that involved nudity, obviously, for my latest comic, issue 7 of my I Never Forgot series. So I want to just preface that before this. I will be showing the video of me going through the sketchbook, telling you about the different days, what I did for them, whatnot. And then on this side, I will have a video showing the reference shots and everything I took through basically this last month. January was a fun month to do. I'm looking forward to doing these sketchbooks every month. This is probably going to be one exclusive video for you guys, at least for 2-3 weeks. And then I will make it available on my YouTube channel. I am also going to be doing an extended cut. You'll see extra behind the scenes stuff that I won't be showing on YouTube. Just like another 5 minutes. Maybe we'll have some deep conversations, whatever. I don't have that many Patreon subscribers, but those that I do hopefully appreciate this little extra effort that I'm putting towards. I know it's been very flaky at the best in recent months. That's just because I've been working very hard to get the next thing out the door. Issue 7 is live. Issue 7 will be ready soon. This is the first time I've gone to the printer with it done and ready to go, and just needed the Kickstarter backer, basically the list thrown together and put into the book. So, without further ado, this is what I sketched and drew and referenced for the month of January. Here we go, the start of my sketchbook. Starting out, there is a sex scene in issue 7 like I was describing. I needed the reference of this actress taking off her bra, and these other reference shots were just basically the scenes that came afterwards. I was trying to get a better look for facial definition, various things to adjust while I get those sketches done too. And I started out doing both sides, and it started getting very muddy very early on, so this is first of 2 pictures that I did. This is actually a friend artist of mine on Instagram. Her name is Kritzens, Krztns. This was her New Year's photo. I thought it was exceptional, and I just had to sketch it. So, also you can see these little monikers, time markings, and that's like basically how long it took to sketch that. Another off Instagram. This is an old decrepit abandoned church, and at So Live Your Life goes in there regularly, takes shots, and like this was just one fantastic picture. If you're following along my comic series, it's the apocalypse. There's abandoned and rundown buildings, and I just needed reference shots so I could remember to do that stuff. You have that design. I was trying to get the um, width and like balance of that gun compared to her. On YouTube, Bradley Friesen. Actually, he's a helicopter pilot. Does a lot of cool shots, shoots with GoPros, does drones, all that kind of stuff. He had these really cool. I took these snapshots of his video, and they were just really awesome. Like whole, I can't think of words anymore. Just the whole thing of them. Just looked dynamic, and I just really wanted to harness that. Later in the video, she says something. I think she says he's beautiful, and he's like, "No, you're beautiful," and touches her face. It was really just such a wild and weird moment. Carrie Fisher passed away. I just did some different shots referencing her. I really like the way that one turns out. I'm not so much a fan of that. I still gotta work on my figure studies. This is another that came out of looking for reference for issue 7. I actually went so far as to ink parts of it, doing cross-hatching like Jan usually does, just kind of getting very separate layouts for all of that. So then we got to making pins. Everybody's been throwing around these ideas of making pins. I'm no exception. Actually sketched these guys out, got them colored, and then with the help of Holly Brown, she actually turned them into vectors for me so I can change them to pins. That's what you'll be seeing over there are her actual drawings and whatnot. Then my friend Olivia Jondal had a couple great shots. I'm terrible with what the words. I can't speak words. Just getting the regular size of things. This definitely should be extended just a little bit longer. But I really like the whole composition of that turning out. This is my friend Olivia again. Her hand really, I dug how that, and I'm trying to work on my hands more and more. So I left notes for me so where I can find the photos in my albums. I noticed her lips were puckered a little bit. Definitely wanted to get that. There's this great, just showing off her clavicle. It's just a great shot. It's very high contrast, black and white, yada yada. There was this Hanya mask done by Denko Basic Arts. Does a lot of oil painting stuff. And I mean, of course, I'm a huge fan of samurai and like oriental design. Just really dug that whole design. Abel PSD, I believe he has a separate account, Dark Bokeh, but he had this cityscape, and I just kind of threw it together, did some shadows. Like I did it with my non-photo blue pencil first, and then went back and hit the actual lines that I wanted to make sure that I knew were there and picked up. And then moving on, you see the start of the design for the Halloween card. You guys are the first to see that. I wanted you guys definitely to be seeing that first. There will be a special Halloween print on here. Just a quick little thank you for you guys as well. Then you have this print of the New Year print. Shows 2016 zombie, 2017 zombie. You can either be the light at the end of the tunnel, you can either be the light at the end or searching for it. you choose. Basically referencing being the train at the end of the tunnel, or being looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. I changed it up for the actual print, the wording a little bit, so you'll be seeing that off to the side. For the next project after this comic series, it's going to be very car heavy. So I've got to get some design work, illustrating some engines, some cars, getting down the basic shapes and the perspective and that word that I still can't think of. Little guy there. That was the first attempt at the GTO. Then I stuck it up there. Did some more. One of my favorite shots from 2017, obviously. Rick Remender getting my books. He's in his place. I basically didn't worry all that much about the background, but I did want perspective lines and whatnot. I think I did a great job. This is probably one of the better photo or portrait studies I did this month. Then my Australian friend Larissa Faye, artist on Instagram. She is wild, crazy, has rainbow colored hair all the time. She's a lovely, lovely artist. Has a lot of bouts with depression, but for the most part, she's always smiling, always has a great attitude about her. And I just took some time, sketched her, and had a great time. This is probably the closest I got to mimicking a design because I was so intrigued by all the little bells and whistles of this robot design. It is done by at CreatureBox. This is all their design. I claim none of it, but proportions. That's the word I've been thinking of this whole time. But I love the proportions of all this little pipe coming out of his chest. It all just looked so good. The shading is probably the best on this for the whole month that I did. Yeah, I really love this piece. Then I did some skateboard designs. My friend actually has his own skateboard company, and I am trying to get some skateboard designs. He does runs of 25 at a time. I think it'd be incredible. You have Donnie in a pool. You have my logo for my comic tag in the middle with some zigs. And then you have Zeke crushing another zombie with a skateboard. I just love all these designs. They probably will get a bigger print in one of the issues at some point. I'm just waiting to hear back from him to see if he liked any of these designs or if I'm going to be designing another one. So that'd be wicked. I was wrong. This is definitely the best shading picture I had for the whole month. This picture was from Gone in 60 Seconds, if I believe correctly. Somebody on my Tumblr had posted it, and I just remembered how much I loved this shot. This is probably going to be recreated in some depth in my comic. Definitely not replicated, but for the most part, there is going to be definitely a panel that looks very similar to that. You have more GTO studies. This GTO picture is going to be one of a very strong plethora of promo for the next project. This GTO is going to live with me for the next 3 to 4 years at least, because it's going to be a big character in the next project. But that's all I can say right now. Then I saw Triple X3. Fell in love with Ruby Rose and her portrayal in that movie. I can't think of that actress's name, but they were standing back to back. Not so stoked on this whole portrait study, but for the most part, I like it. I would love to do take another shot at it. In the movie Triple X3, there's this great scene where she has this green, like almost teal hair, and she looks almost identical as Alana from Saga. And if you've been following me on social media, like, Saga took over my life for the end of December, and like I just couldn't get away from it because I fell in love with that comic series. Iron Man pose. You got the Iron Man hero action shot. This is actually going to be in the anthology project. You guys are the first to see this. Obviously, his landing from one of the movies, I think it was Iron Man 2, but Rath's landing for the anthology story I'm working on. I'm stoked looking at that. The next day, I just did this lip study. This is always fascinating, the biting of the lip. Just such a simple design, but probably took a good 20 minutes to nail perfectly like I wanted it to. This definitely didn't turn out anything like I wanted to. This was the next day. It was a Mardi Gras mask, and like the nose needs to be a little bit further out. Proportions are just off and wonky looking. Next picture, me and an ex. This was actually a reference shot for one of the panels in issue 7. Then I found a box of old pictures. Did one of my old vans. I just need to stretch the whole box of the van much more. I wasn't pleased with either of these, but that'll give me a starting point to where to work with for that next. This was just an awesome shot. This old style Challenger, like space shuttle. Had I seen that before, the spaceship I'm going to be using in my anthology project, like, this would have definitely been. You can see from the original shot, this one's just littered with graffiti, and I thought it was just a very sweet design. I wish I had taken more time and done the graffiti on it, but that would have just taken more time than I wanted to put forward on. Then you have this Angel Knight design. I really like how the armor came together. This huge pauldron. Not so keen on that blade, but it works. I really dig. The reference shots was much more involved. Obviously, it wasn't an angel, but I like this pose. And he was coming out of a flame, so I needed to give him an excuse for having that pose. So he got some wings. And finally, to end out the month, Euphosor. If you've been following my videos here on YouTube, you've seen me post some of her content. She's been a new friend from back in September. We are cheering each other on. We are enjoying each other's creative content. And I figured for the last spot in January, she would have a place to look upon. So, hope you've enjoyed this month. I look forward to seeing what I come up with in February. So, thanks for checking it out. Later.